He cobbled together a used crankshaft and piston, poured in some gasoline, and gave the crank a hard swing. It didn't work, but that failure actually convinced Davidson it was the core power source they needed. Back then, bicycles were the main way to get around. Coming from a working-class family, Davidson always dreamed of something faster. One day, he saw a worker riskily clinging to the back of a car just to pick up speed. That image sparked his idea instantly. What if they slapped an engine onto a bicycle? Could it make that speed leap? He rushed to find his friend Harley, excited to share the idea. Harley, who had some engineering training, thought it sounded like a crazy idea. Building an engine alone was a massive undertaking. They had no machine tools, no molds, no workshop, and definitely no startup money. Beyond this wild idea, they had practically nothing. But Davidson wouldn't give up easily. Pushing Harley, they snuck into a theater. On stage, an actress pedaled a tricycle slowly into view. While the audience watched her, Harley couldn't take his eyes off the engine mounted on it. He quickly pulled out his notebook and sketched its precise mechanical design. Unfortunately, they got caught without tickets and were thrown out. Luckily, Harley managed to recreate the engine sketch from memory. Armed with the drawing, they approached a local factory hoping to partner up, but the factory owner took one look and shut them down flat. To him, they were just a couple of dreamy kids with a wild notion. Besides, he thought a bicycle frame couldn't handle the power of a real engine. While the partnership failed, it didn't kill their enthusiasm. Finally, they decided to build it themselves. The problem was, they didn't have a decent workshop. After some thought, they converted an old Davidson family shed into a makeshift workshop. Short on parts, Davidson resorted to snuck parts from the factory where he worked. They used the factory's equipment to create the engine casing. Harley handled the assembly. Soon, the very first prototype engine for a Harley motorcycle came to life. Nervously, they poured in gasoline. Harley, looking serious, turned the crank.
No, come on! Come on!
Their celebration was cut short when the engine blew up. Those parts clearly weren't good enough. They needed precision machining, but buying precision parts cost more money than they could dream of. Stuck and out of ideas, Davidson remembered his cousin Walter. Walter owned a big farm and was a seasoned railroad mechanic. With his help, their problems could be solved. Davidson urgently asked Harley to write Walter a letter for him. In the letter, Davidson talked up the engine's power, calling it the future, but they needed some startup cash for production and promotion. He boldly predicted sales in the thousands. The letter's exaggerated claims piqued Walter's curiosity enough to visit. Stepping into his cousin's crude little shed and seeing the barely there bicycle contraption, Walter felt duped. He spun around to leave.